today.
Welcome to another episode of Beat This Game. Today we're going to do Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Just a little thing here, just to let you know, we're going to do 7 lives and on hard mode. This run will be no continues. I would have liked to have done a no death run, but I don't know. It can be done definitely, but I don't know if I don't know if I'm that hardcore. I want to spend that much time doing this game, because again, I guess the point of this game isn't really to like showcase, I guess, how good I can run it, more so to show that it can be beat or give you some tips and tricks and stuff like that. So anyways, on to it. I don't know if there's really too much I can say about this first level. It's pretty basic. It's definitely a lot harder than the other 2 Contras. Especially on hard mode, I think what happens mainly here is the energy of the enemies increases, and also the biggest problem is everything moves faster. So the bullets move faster, so it's a lot harder to evade them. But pretty much this first level, it should be pretty easy to get it down. You should be able to walk through it, no problem. Some things to note: the C, I think it's called a concussion, or I don't know, something like that weapon, right? It is the weapon of choice through the whole game. There are some scenarios where you may want to get like spread or laser, but for the most part, you really want to have this weapon. It is by far the easiest and the most effective weapon to use against pretty much all of the enemies. Also, you'll see another thing that I'm doing here is, which makes it a little bit more difficult and maybe a little bit more easy, is I'm using the weapon switch trick. Basically, especially for the C weapon, it shoots maybe like 5 or 6 bullets at a time, and then you gotta wait until they hit and detonate before it'll shoot anymore. So, and a lot of the weapons are like that. So what you can do to shoot faster is switch between the 2 weapons. So, of course, that would make you have to kind of turn your fingers around, play it like you would an arcade machine, but it's really worth it because you can take out things a lot quicker. And a lot of the speedrun guys, or at least all of the speedrun guys that I know or I have watched, pretty much use this method to take stuff out. Now, I will say I did not do it in the traditional manner where I used the regular controller. I always use an Ashware or whatever Super Nintendo controller. I've used it ever since the beginning of when I first got my controller. I like the way it fits in my hand better, and also it has turbo functions. So what you're seeing here is I have it toggled to do rapid fire, so it makes it a lot easier to do this. If you had to do it without, you'd have to continually hit and kind of time out your shots. So I'm kind of fudging a little bit, but essentially it's the same thing. If I remember correctly, this run is kind of strange in that I did really good in like the first 2 or 3 levels, and then I did kind of crappy in the middle of the game, and then I did good in the end of the game. So it should have been totally different. I should have been able to do really good in the first and the second section and crappy in the third section, but I don't know. There's 2 levels like this one. My suggestion to you would be to take out start there and take out the first one with that bomb. Some of these you have to like duck. Some of them you have to have your back turned to the enemy before he'll pop out. Again, the easiest way to take this out, or the fastest way to take this out, is the C weapon, because it can explode, and once it hits the target, it explodes for a bit. As you can see, like I was talking about right here, I mean, that's stupid. I should have been able to walk this level without dying at all. I don't know what I was doing. But then again, I make up for it later in the game, so who knows. It's not a perfect run, but it'll do. So again, this enemy, you have to shoot and turn around so that he'll come out. And then with the C weapon, what's good is because it keeps exploding once it hits the target, it's a lot easier to get that guy. This guy, I believe, gives you a shield. No, okay, it's an H. Some of these are random with what they give you, but some of them are consistent. But for the most part, this game is kind of predictable on certain aspects. Like I said, sometimes you'll get a bad like placement of the enemies, or bad what do you call it? My brain ain't working. I played this game a lot today trying to do this. Like a bad starting pattern. But Anyways, this is the way that worked for me the best, the fastest. There's obviously a lot of different ways you can go around this map to get all of them. To me, this was the easiest and the fastest. So what you want to do, it's not as important that you have 2 Cs going into this stage's boss as it is in the later stages. Like I think in stage 5 and stage 6, it is almost mandatory that you have C or spread. If you don't, to me it's like almost raises the level of difficulty like 3 or 4 times. Actually, that was a really good run. I mean, if you have the C, you come out swinging and you time it right, you can pretty much take him out before he does any of his spin moves with the laser, or before he dashes across the stage or flies up in the air. That's the power of that weapon, and especially using that strat where you switch between back and forth between them. So again, I think that's what you want to really shoot for when you're doing this game. I think this is level 3. Let's see. That's what I was going to talk about here. You'll see me. You want to kind of. I guess you want to kind of memorize the pattern of where these guys are coming out, because like that guy right there is how he shot me. If you let him, if you give him the ability to keep shooting on the screen, he's almost impossible to hit without taking a hitter, 1 or 2 hits. See right here, this is what I'm talking about. We're in the middle of the game. You should be able to blow through this section without losing any lives. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. Again, like I said, there's again. I mean, that was like 3 lives that I can think of already that should not have happened. I should have been able to make it here without dying once, but you know, like I said, I did crappy here and I did better in the end. So I guess it balanced itself out. Another good thing that when you have this weapon, you don't have to get on the sides of this enemy, which make it a lot easier, because if you kill him while he's there, he'll start flaring flaring those arms around, and then you can possibly spin off the stage and lose a life. Sorry. Again, if I sound a little crazy, it's because I spent like 4 hours today trying to get this down. Contra was not still like that. Contra 3 was not one of the ones that I owned as a kid, so I don't have it ingrained in my memory like I do Contra 1 and 2. But anyways, right here, a perfect way to get more stuff. That was the C level, that was the spread right above it that I missed because I don't need it. So again, if you need them, you need to know where these are placed so that you can take them out. The secret on this right here, always keep your hand up at the top of his foot. As long as you keep it there, you get the easiest pattern. If you try to stay in the middle, these missiles will throw all kinds of patterns at you. They'll come in real close. Sometimes they'll give you an opening. This is the most consistent way to do it. If you pretty much keep it right there as it's swirling up, you will pretty much guaranteed not die. You may have to move and shoot some of them down, but it's a lot easier to do than if you stay in the middle, because those 2 will sometimes hone in on you and there's no way to kill them both. So it doesn't matter what weapon you have. Keep in mind too, if you see there's that first little indent where his foot's gonna go, there's another one on top. Once you get up to the top of this, or once he gets into place, don't match up the top of his foot, because you'll get killed by those spikes right there. Here it's just a matter of, again, if you have the 2C weapons and you do this particular type of strat with shooting, this section is extremely easy. If you don't have it, it's going to be difficult. This next section, you want to jump up and move so you can move faster and not have to worry about those guys. Again, sometimes you get a good pattern with those, sometimes you don't. I've never seen a consistent way to do it, but I do know if you stay on that wall, it's definitely a lot easier to lose a life, and you waste more time. I believe the speedrunners usually do this in around 15 minutes or so, just to give you an idea as far as the time on this. I think I did it in 25, so definitely not the fastest, but that wasn't what I was going for. Also, I guess what's important with this game too is to get more points, because the game seems to be a little more generous with getting extra lives than it was in 1 or 2. So, and I also think you get bonuses in this one for how fast you go and stuff like that, like stage bonuses. There's a spread right there in case you need it. Sometimes you can go into this last boss with a C or a spread. The best way to do it is with the 2 C's. Don't even worry about those 2 assholes back there. It's just a waste of time. Right there will be an H, which is the homing missile. Basically for this, as quick as you can, get up to the top here and just start laying into these guys. At this, where you are right there, or at the top of the stage, they cannot hit you unless they jump up top, and then you only have a certain amount of time before they shoot you. With this one, you want to stay straight in the middle, and you'll avoid his first attack. Basically, look at the placement of my hand, where it is in the very, very middle of that notch up there. And be prepared, because once you shoot down, and his little projectiles come out, you have to get down to the ground and shoot up. And you should be good to go on that. If you don't have that weapon, you're in for a little bit of a run. You'll have to dodge his fire, and you'll have to worry about his exploding missiles that he shoots out. So better to do it that way. You can also do it with spread, and you won't even have to move. You can do the same thing. Any other combination, and you will have to move out of the way. Alright, for this stage is kind of tricky, but there's some things that I would do. Stay as far back to the left as you can, only because it gives these guys who throw the missiles, or the bombs on the ground, they usually wait until you're right underneath them. So that means that they're not going to pepper the stage with multiple bombs. Which is, if you get in the middle, some of these guys will do them behind you, ahead of you, and then it's just more to dodge. It's easier if you stay in the back because it's a lot easier to dodge them. There, if you have the 2Cs, you just want to stay right there and just fire right into that guy. It's the quickest. If not, you can use the regular machine gun and just stay back all the way to the left and shoot, and you won't really have any problem. Now, I trade out here and do the fire weapon because I find it easier to take care of the next couple bosses here. This guy, I've killed him before, but I think it's just easy to time out his pattern here and then get underneath him. This is where I prefer to use the fire. You can use it, you don't have to use it here, but I think for this purpose it works better. And usually there's a place to get another C or a spread weapon, so as long as you don't die, you should be fine. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to trade this out for a laser, because this weapon, basically, you can either try to take it out before it gets close to you, or you can try to fake it out to where it shoots, because if it hits you, it's basically a death. Doesn't matter if it hits you or not, it will actually take out your motorcycle. So you either want to try to take it out before it gets to you, or you want to kind of fake it out so it shoots early, and it will only shoot once. You see, this is a good run on this level. I didn't really take a lot of damage. I don't think I've lost any lives, and we're cruising through it pretty quick. This guy, the only thing I can say is whatever he shoots out, his placement for his cable, I guess, stay a fair distance from it, because if you're really too close to it, he'll come up like there, and it's a little harder to avoid that. Basically, all you do is time out that jump over the projectile that shoots at you. You'll be okay. But if you had 2Cs, you probably want to get him closer so you can just sit there at point blank range and just lay into him. This is actually kind of a hit or miss for me. It's pretty difficult because you've got to worry about these missiles and all this shit. Later Contra games would kind of do stuff like this as well. This to me is one of the hardest, just because you have a gun at the top and a gun at the bottom, and then you got these other things that are exploding the fucking things that you're standing on. So you have to constantly be firing back and forth and jumping and moving up and down. It's a pain in the ass. I'm not sure how many lives I lose on this. It might have been it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that bottom one, if you can, I guess take out the bottom one first. It seems to be the hardest one to do. Okay, so I lost 2. I don't think I've lost another one, or will lose another one. Once you blow up these guns, you don't really have to worry about anything hitting you here. It's just the enemy's going to be shooting the bombs out. So if you're on one and you're too far to the right, of course you're going to die. So kind of make sure you always have something underneath you. You don't have to be in necessarily any particular position here, other than like close to the center. I think there's some missiles that come up really high that you can't actually hit the boss. So other than that, you can just pretty much fire in. See, I was saying points again are something you really want to get, because I just got another life. I've probably gotten at least 4 or 5 lives, really. Only thing I can say there at the end, you can die up until the flash whites out the whole screen. So if you're getting ready to fall off and you think you can just stop moving, you need to continue to move, otherwise you'll lose a life there, and that's kind of a shitty way to lose one. Alright, we got 4 lives going into stage 5, I believe. I always start in this corner. You can start in other ones. This just seems to be easier to come down from this way rather than have to go back around and revisit this. I don't know why. This one always gives me some sort of trouble. There is some something you need to know about this stage. If you haven't figured it out, that you can either press the left and basically you do press the left and right buttons to move back and forth, or turn rather. And if you double click them really fast, you'll go into a really fast turn, which is something you need once you get on some of these spinning circles, both on this stage and the final boss. Because you're going to spin in there, and it's the only way to kind of be consistent, so you can stay kind of going straight, so you're not just spinning around in circles, firing blindly. Let's see. Sometimes I'll get laser in this stage. It's pretty useful, especially for those guys that are like centipedes or something. Like right here. So you're gonna have to see there. I double clicked it fast, and now I'm actually to be stable. Of course, once I get off of here, I'll be spinning like crazy, but that's the only way to keep you from just going around in a whirlpool, crazy looking. I don't think I entered this stage with spread and C. I think I just do, or two C's. I do spread and C. It's just pretty good. There is a way to kind of get the better weapons against this guy. Basically, he'll have two ways to attack you. Here, he'll send out these individual enemies to kill you. You have to get him to a certain life point before he starts spinning around, and then the floor spins around, and then he does like a combination of like fire and these other enemies and shooting at you. But what you can do in the meantime, you can take out these arms or whatever the hell they are, and you can get weapons. They'll give you weapons, missiles, stuff like that. Now, I will tell you, if you have to use the continue on this, I don't believe there's a way that you can kill them with your regular machine gun before they go back inside, so you will have to use like a bomb or something to help you kill the first one. But then after that, pretty much most of the weapons will allow you to kill these before they go back in, hence getting you a bunch of stuff. This is what I really wanted, the 2 C's. It's the fastest, so you can kind of stay here. Now, if you were going to speed run it and you had 2 C's coming into it, you can start off like right in the middle and back off, and you should be able to kill him before he goes into his spin cycle, which would be preferred to be the fastest. Because this is kind of a pain, because you're always trying to fight turning like this, and yeah, if you can avoid this, would be the best. But I was not able to get there with the right weapon, so. Yeah, killing that thing with the regular machine gun is a pain in the ass. Wouldn't want to try it. I've seen some guys do a no weapon run of this, and my hat's off to them. I don't have the patience for that crap. Couldn't do it. So up to 6 lives, pretty good coming into this last level. There are multiple places to get C and spread in this level, so I would recommend you figure out where they're at. This first guy is from Contra 1. You either want to have spread in C or 2 C's. I think it's actually easier to do spread in C, because that way you can get those, whatever they, shrimp coming out of his mouth. If you have 2 C's, sometimes some of those can get away from you. That right there that I just passed up was another C. I did not want it because there's a lot of enemies on this stage before you get to the other mini bosses. And spread, I don't know. Spread seems to be the easiest one that I know of to kind of help you shield yourself from all these fucking guys just running all over the place. God, that was stupid. Fucking, that was dumb. Alright. Okay. As you can see, these guys just come out merciful. It's no mercy, man, with these fuckers. It's just like Contra 2 at the end, but they're just coming that much faster. Alright, here you're gonna get a spread before you go into like one of the first or second mini boss, I guess. My suggestion on this would be to take out the pods first. the bottom one in the front, because that way you don't have so many coming to you on the bottom, and you can just focus shooting up. There, if you had a machine gun, there's a little space that you can get like right by skimming the heart where you can fire, and it will actually hit that pot up top. It's usually the best if you don't have some sort of weapon you can use. Just another little tip there. So that was him. If you have the right weapons and you know where he's going to be firing, it's not too bad. This one is the same way. I think he only has 2 different attacks. So he's gonna rush at you to the left, and then you kind of want to stay right where I am. That seems to be the best spot that I found. Now, if you want to kill him fast, you can get right up into his face. But this one seems to work the best for me, because after these things fall down, he will shoot a like a beam of energy at you, and jumping out of the way is important. So if you're too close, it's hard to get away from it. Alright, this next guy, kind of like the stage 3 boss. Basically, you need to shoot him enough until he goes into this second attack, which is a lot easier than this. So basically, if you stand there, he kind of like remembers where you're right were there, so you move down at the last moment, shoot up a little bit, and just repeat. It works on any weapon, just obviously with the right weapons it's faster. There is a fire coming up, I believe. I didn't really see a point in getting that at all. You probably, even with just machine gun, you're better off. Alright, so a little tip on this. You do not want to stand, at least to me, you don't want to stand all the way to the left, because then this guy on the right will come out and he'll have two ways of attack. He'll either kind of come up high where you can jump over him, like if you time it you can miss jump him, or he'll kind of go low, and so you can duck down. So, but it's easier if you're doing what I'm doing, kind of trick him to act like you're staying in the middle. That way he never comes over to the left. Also, you don't want to take out both of these guys on the left and the right, because once you do, then there's like a whole nother guys just drop down left and right and fire, and it's a lot harder. So take one out, keep one alive. So this is one of the final stages of the boss here. He's basically going to spin shit around, and there are different forms of attack, and you have to fire in and you select it. This one right here, the stones, the easiest. If you see where I'm at right there, you can lay down and they never touch you. And if you have 2 C's, or C in machine gun, C in spread, you can do a lot of damage, although it is kind of hard to get the right cycle here. This one is actually kind of helpful because he spits out a bunch of weapons and bombs and shit like this. It's just kind of hard sometimes to dodge these guys. So I think you have to, I'm not really sure how many times you have to do this. If you have the right weapons, it still takes a while. This defense that he has there is kind of a pain. Just kind of use my bomb to rush through it. I don't remember which one I had next. Oh, same one again. If you let these things shrink in too much, they just essentially kill you, so you want to take these out first before you focus on the boss here. But the best guys usually do the 3 stones, because it's the fastest, because you can just lay down and fire right into them. It's just hard to get it consistently. Alright, so there is one more form of the boss. We're going to get on the helicopter here, and it's going to lift us up, and this boss is going to get into his final form where he has some arms and he's floating and he goes up, and you have to just pummel some more shots into him and then he's dead. So if you think it's over now, it's not. Be prepared for him to come up and get you. Kind of one of those where when his arm comes up on the left side, you have to jump to the right, and vice versa. And also he will kind of bump up and try to smack you with the top of his spiked head there, so you will have to jump up in order to avoid it. The faster you can take him out, the better for you. Use your bombs, use anything that you have, because he is kind of a pain and you could lose a lot of lives here. Luckily I had a couple lives to deal with on this one. I didn't mean to fall down like that, but so it made it a lot easier. So there it is right there. That's Contra 3 on hard mode with 7 lives. I had thought about doing this a no death run, but it's just again, it could be done. I just don't want to spend that much time with it. It's just as easy for me to do it like this and kind of give you all some tips and tricks. I have seen some really good runs of this with no death, with the machine gun only, which I think somebody called a master run. I've seen a pacifist run. I mean, there's pretty much anything on this game that you can think of. But I would recommend you, if you have it, play it. If you don't have it, get it. It's an excellent game. Contra 3. I would wager for the retro consoles, it's probably the best, or the best and the hardest. Some people would say Contra Hardcore, sorry. Hardcore is the hardest. But I actually think playing this on hard mode is more difficult than that, because it's a little, the patterns seem to be a little easier on the Genesis one. But I could be wrong. And plus, too, with the Genesis one, there's multiple ways to get to the boss, and you can do secret, like the secret level, which will shorten your path, and I don't know, it's weird. And you have multiple people to pick from, so then you have different strats to play. Some are shorter, some are faster, some clean the walls. So it's I don't know, it's weird, but I still think this is the best. And it took me a while to get through this. I had beaten it before on hard, but I had done it with 2 players, which does make it a little bit easier sometimes. I'm not sure if I ever beat it on hard mode before until doing this video, at least by myself. I had beaten it numerous times on easy and medium or normal, but yeah, hard mode is really a bitch. So I'm kind of happy to have this one crossed off my list, and hopefully the tips that I shared, I know we were flowing through pretty quick, hopefully they help you in trying to get through this game. There were some other strats, like I said, that some people do. I'm just not as good at it. So, but I think I gave you the basic ones that you're going to need to get through this game. So, but yeah, great game, great music, great graphics. Probably one of the best games on the Super Nintendo. Can't say enough about Contra 3. If you have never played it, you need to get a copy. It's kind of expensive. It probably runs between $30 and $50, depending on who you buy it from. Normally I would say that's definitely too high for this game or any game, but this one's really worth it. So if I didn't have it and I wanted it or had heard about it, I might actually pay that price for it. So if you're thinking about it, definitely do it. And like I said, that's another episode down. I hope you enjoyed it, and rate, comment, subscribe, and if you have any comments for games you want me to play later down the line on the show, let me know and I'll definitely get to them.